Well, my approach to safe driving is really staying sharp on my driving skills, my safe driving methods. That's what's going to get me home safe. And some of those are just keeping a good, safe following distance, looking ahead for hazards that I may need to be prepared for and react to, moving my eyes every 2 seconds to keep from becoming distracted, checking my mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds to make sure I know what's around my vehicle. You know, those are some of the safe driving methods that will get you home every time safely.
As a professional truck driver, it's important for you to continually hone your driving skills in order to perform at the highest level. The purpose of today's training is to help you, the professional driver, improve your ability to prevent one of the most serious types of crashes on our roadways: run-under crashes. Run-under crashes are one of the 4 critical crashes because they have the potential for severe losses. From the pain and suffering to the emotional and financial impact, run-under crashes are devastating to all involved. At the end of this module, you should be able to identify 4 driving hazards commonly associated with run-under crashes, explain the loss factors that contribute to run-under crashes, and determine the essential 7 driving techniques that can be used to prevent these types of losses. In addition, there are 5 questions at the end of this module to reinforce your understanding of the material. Run-under crashes occur when the tractor or trailer is placed perpendicular into the path of oncoming traffic, resulting in another vehicle impacting the side of the truck or running under the trailer, typically between the landing gear and rear tandems. In the course of hauling freight, professional truck drivers regularly encounter hazardous situations that put them at an increased risk of a run-under crash. These include turning left at an intersection, crossing a road or divided highway from a side street, backing into customer facilities, and making sharp right-hand turns that can result in a right turn squeeze. Unfortunately, it's unlikely any of these hazards can be completely eliminated from your job. At some point, there will be a need for you to perform at least one of these maneuvers. So how can you do your job safely and prevent a run-under crash from occurring? To answer this, we need to identify the factors that contribute to these types of losses. The first loss factor is timing. Timing refers to how long it takes for a tractor-trailer to successfully cross a road or navigate an intersection. The longer it takes, the more exposed the vehicle is to oncoming traffic. The next loss factor is failure to yield. This is when a truck driver pulls out into the path of oncoming vehicles and blocks travel lanes expecting oncoming traffic to slow down or stop while the truck waits to complete its maneuver. Night conspicuity is another loss factor. This refers to how visible the tractor and trailer are at night to other drivers. Next are U-turns. U-turns expose the side of the truck to oncoming traffic, especially if the driver misjudges the distance needed to complete the U-turn and has to back up. Backing up across travel lanes, especially at night, is another loss factor that increases the risk of a run-under crash. We'll talk about this more in a minute. And finally, we will discuss trailer spacing when making a right-hand turn. Run-under crashes can occur when a truck driver swings their articulated vehicle out to make a sharp right-hand turn, but brings the rear of the trailer too far out from the curb. In opening up the right-hand lane, a trailing motorist can mistake the truck driver's move as a left lane change and try to pass the truck on the right, unaware the truck is about to make a sharp right-hand turn. This is commonly referred to as a right turn squeeze when the truck turns into the vehicle and a side impact occurs. When you think about it, wouldn't you agree that many of the factors that contribute to a run-under crash may potentially be within your control? This is an important point to acknowledge because, as you recall, This program, Value-Driven Driving, is all about decision-making and applying your own personal and professional values to the choices you make behind the wheel. We consulted your peers and tasked them with devising a list of proven driving techniques that could not only help prevent run-under crashes, but other losses as well. They came back with the essential 7 driving techniques. These include yield the right-of-way, react properly to hazards, maintain one lane, avoid distractions, be attentive to the road ahead, maintain proper following distance, and observe proper speed for conditions. Using the essential 7 driving techniques and other safe work practices, let's examine each loss factor more closely and decide the best way to prevent a run-under crash. Whether you're making a left-hand turn at an intersection or crossing a divided highway, timing is crucial. You need to know how long it takes for your vehicle to clear an intersection from a standing start, as well as be able to gauge the closing distance of oncoming traffic. Misjudging either of these can lead directly to a vehicle run-under crash. Let's look at making a left turn at an intersection. How much time would you estimate it takes a fully loaded tractor-trailer to pull off from a standing start to clear an intersection? 6 seconds? 10 seconds? The drivers we spoke to said it takes anywhere from 15 to 20 seconds to pull out and safely make a left turn, depending on factors such as size of the intersection, gear selection, weight of the trailer, etc. Let's put this to the test. We'll start the clock as soon as the truck pulls away. There, it took at least 16 seconds to complete the left turn from a standing start. Now that we know how long it takes to complete this maneuver, we also need to be able to gauge how fast oncoming traffic is approaching. If you recall from the Preventing Rear-End Crashes module, drivers recommended counting seconds as the most accurate method of determining safe following distance. The same method applies here. Start by finding a stationary object, like the power line pole at the top of the hill, and then start counting as soon as oncoming traffic passes it. It took about 9 seconds for that vehicle to reach the intersection, and since we confirmed it takes 15 to 20 seconds to complete this maneuver, the proper reaction to this hazard is to avoid it. Better to continue forward rather than attempting a risky turn and find an alternate route. Furthermore, if this is part of your regular route, you should report this hazard to your safety department so they can contact the local authorities and have a stop sign installed. The next loss factor we will discuss is failure to yield. For the most part, motor vehicles, especially large trucks, should not block the path of oncoming traffic and expect other vehicles that have the right-of-way to slow down or stop. This is a common cause of run-under and side impact crashes, especially when crossing an intersection, railroad tracks, or divided highway. Here's a reenactment from the automobile driver's perspective. As the vehicle approaches, it is clear the truck will not clear its path before impact. Even though the driver of the car has plenty of time to see the truck, this portrayal shows a four-wheeler who is inattentive and distracted. To prevent a run-under or side impact crashes, professional truck drivers added yield the right-of-way to the list of essential 7 driving techniques. In this case, wait for the oncoming car to clear before pulling off. Likewise, obey railroad signals. If a train is coming and your truck happens to stall on the tracks, get out of the vehicle immediately and use the emergency phone at the crossing or call 911. Furthermore, do not pull out into the middle of an intersection waiting for traffic to clear so you can turn. Stay behind the white line and either wait for the next green arrow signal or properly time your maneuver like we discussed earlier. Blocking the intersection needlessly exposes you and your truck to harm and could inhibit emergency vehicles needing to pass. The next loss factor that increases the likelihood of a run-under crash is night conspicuity. Conspicuity means just how conspicuous or easy to see a trailer is when it's blocking a travel lane at night. Run-under crashes frequently occur at night when it's more difficult for other vehicles to see your truck from the side. It is also more difficult for you to judge the distance and approaching speed of an oncoming vehicle. From a four-wheeler's perspective, let's look at a truck making a left-hand turn in the day and night. As you can see, during the daylight, the tractor and trailer are very easy to see, but at night, it's impossible to see the trailer blocking the road. In fact, the trailer's marker lights could be very deceiving to oncoming motorists. Motorists might confuse them for something else entirely, perhaps vehicles way off in the distance. Likewise, with the truck's headlamps shining in the eyes of oncoming motorists, this could hamper the driver's ability to see the trailer markings and reflective tape. In fact, the oncoming motorist could be fooled into thinking the approaching truck is properly in its lane and be completely unaware of the danger ahead. For this reason, professional truck drivers should be mindful of their vehicle's night conspicuity and take preventive measures to ensure they are not the cause of a run-under crash. Start by conducting proper vehicle inspections throughout each trip to ensure all lights are working properly and the trailer's reflective tape is not damaged or obstructed by cargo securement devices. In emergency situations where the truck may be blocking traffic lanes and cannot be moved, turn on your hazard warning lights and place your reflective triangles or flares on the road in front and behind your truck within 10 minutes of stopping. This will help oncoming motorists see your truck from every direction. You may even need to flash your low-beam headlights off and on repeatedly at approaching traffic if it appears they don't see you and aren't slowing down. The next loss factor that contributes to run-under crashes is a U-turn. A U-turn should never be attempted in a tractor-trailer unless you're being instructed to do so by a law enforcement officer. This is because the time it takes to perform a U-turn exposes your tractor and trailer to oncoming traffic much longer than with any other kind of turn or maneuver. Many times, a run-under crash occurs when a truck driver attempts a U-turn after missing a turn or becomes lost. In any case, a U-turn is never the safe option unless traffic control is assisting you. Instead, try these prevention techniques. First, if you miss a turn, try making 4 right-hand turns instead. This allows you to circle back to where you started to make the correct turn. You'll avoid any U-turns and left-hand turns that could put you at risk. Next, plan your trip well in advance. Program your GPS before leaving to ensure you know exactly which turn or exit to take. Quite often when a driver misses their turn, he or she reacts suddenly and makes a bad decision, like attempting a U-turn or an abrupt lane change. Know where you're going by planning ahead. Likewise, use the essential 7 driving technique of avoiding all distractions. Put away your cell phone and other distractions. Focus your attention on driving and be mindful of your surroundings so you don't miss your exit and have to backtrack. The next loss factor we will discuss is backing across travel lanes to get into a customer's facility. This is a hazardous part of your job that increases the likelihood of a run-under crash. In the daytime, dry vans and tankers might be more conspicuous than a flatbed, but at night they are all difficult to see. For this reason, professional truck drivers can help prevent run-under crashes by working in conjunction with their employer and the consignees to identify hazards at each stop on their route before leaving. If any deliveries require backing into or out of a facility across traffic lanes, make arrangements for traffic control in advance so there's no delay in making the delivery. If you arrive at a delivery site and find the situation requires traffic control, it still falls on you to take the necessary precautions. You may need to recruit the customer for help or have your dispatcher contact local law enforcement for assistance. It is also recommended you coordinate with your helpers on how traffic will be directed, what hand signals will be used, and who will be your spotter. Also, be sure to get out and look at the area you will be backing into first to make sure it's clear. If traffic control and spotters are unavailable and the customer insists you proceed, please call your carrier so they can work with the customer to eliminate any hazards. Lastly, never attempt to back into or out of a facility across traffic lanes at night unless you have help with traffic control. As an added safety measure, turn on your hazard warning lights to make yourself more conspicuous. If traffic control is unavailable at night, Find a safe place to park for the night and try to deliver the load the next morning when traffic control is available and visibility improved. Remember, it's better to deliver a load late than risk the consequences of a poor decision. The final loss factor we will discuss is trailer spacing while making a sharp right-hand turn. Run-under crashes can occur when a truck driver swings their articulated vehicle out to make a sharp right-hand turn, but brings the rear of the trailer out too far from the curb. In doing so, it opens up the right-hand lane, where trailing motorists might mistakenly think the truck driver is making a left lane change. They in turn try to pass the truck on the right, unaware it's about to make a sharp right-hand turn. This is commonly referred to as a right turn squeeze when the truck turns into the vehicle and a side impact occurs. Steps can be taken to help prevent a right turn squeeze. As you approach the intersection, remember our Essential 7 driving technique and to maintain one lane. Do not swing wide left over the lane divider into the path of oncoming traffic. This will expose you to a potential head-on collision. Instead, maintain one lane and keep the rear of the trailer as close to the curb as possible. This will deter drivers behind you from mistaking your maneuver as a left lane change and inadvertently try to pass you on the right. When it's safe and legal to start your right-hand turn, take it slow and stay in your lane as you enter the intersection. As you proceed, be mindful of any cross traffic appearing unexpectedly. The front of your tractor will possibly cross into the path of oncoming traffic momentarily. If a vehicle appears and doesn't leave you sufficient space, stop and give them room to go by before continuing your turn. Never attempt to back your truck up without spotters and traffic control. This concludes our module on preventing run-under crashes. In review, we discussed there are several driving hazards you may face on a daily basis that are associated with run-under crashes, whether making a left-hand turn at an intersection, crossing traffic lanes, backing into a customer facility, or making sharp right-hand turns. You have the ability to take steps to prevent a run-under crash from occurring. For each of these hazards, we identified loss factors that increase the likelihood of a run-under crash. These include timing, failing to yield, night conspicuity, U-turns, backing across travel lanes, and trailer spacing. Drivers can help prevent run-under crashes by remembering the Essential 7 driving techniques of yield the right-of-way. For instance, do not pull into the middle of an intersection and block oncoming traffic. Next, react properly to hazards. If there's not enough time to clear oncoming traffic or a turn is too tight, the best reaction may be to continue forward and find a safer place to double back. And finally, maintain one lane. When approaching any turn, keep to your lane so you can avoid head-on collision. This can also help vehicles behind you from thinking you're changing lanes and try to move up into your blind spot on the right. In addition, we discussed other prevention techniques, such as conducting vehicle inspections to improve conspicuity at night. If for some reason your vehicle is stuck in the middle of a road, use your hazard lights and warning devices to alert oncoming motorists that your vehicle is blocking the road. Furthermore, never make U-turns. Use the 4 right turns method to double back if you miss your turn, and be sure to plan your trip ahead of time so you know where you're going. Another prevention technique is to never back up across travel lanes, especially at night, unless you have traffic control assistance and spotters. It's better to come back the next day and deliver a load late than risk a run-under crash. Also, whether a spotter is available or not, always get out and look at the space you're backing into before starting a backing maneuver. And finally, if making a sharp right-hand turn, practice a button hook maneuver and keep the rear of the trailer as close to the curb as possible to prevent a right turn squeeze. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about preventing run-under crashes. We accomplished our learning objectives today and hope you found the material insightful. Now, as you leave, please take time to reflect on how this message fits into your own personal and professional values. We hope protecting life is a principle you hold so dearly that it's beyond compromise, and you will use the protective driving techniques discussed today to help prevent run-under crashes. On behalf of Great West Casualty Company, we appreciate the invaluable service you bring to our country, as well as your efforts to be a value-driven driver. If you have any additional questions about this program, please contact your Great West Safety Services Department.